Hello, my LGBT cuties, and welcome back to another episode of A Jaded Gay. I'm Rob Lovelace, and today we're talking about the COVID-19 pandemic, and specifically how it's disproportionately affected the LGBTQ+ community. Now, to understand why COVID hits our community harder, we need to go back a little further to the AIDS crisis. On June 5th, 1981, the CDC published a report about a rare lung infection in 5 young gay men in Los Angeles, which was the first official recognition of what became the AIDS epidemic. Initially, it was labeled things like GRID, or gay-related immune deficiency, and the government was slow to respond. By 1995, 1 in 9 gay men in the US had been diagnosed with AIDS, and 10% of that population had died. Entire generations were lost, and the government largely turned a blind eye. It wasn't until the late 90s that antiretroviral therapy became effective, turning HIV from a terminal illness into a manageable chronic one. But even today, conversations about HIV and AIDS have dwindled outside of our community, even though for gay men, it's still very much front of mind. Now, fast forward to 2020, and we faced a new pandemic, COVID-19. Unlike AIDS, the COVID vaccine came out in under a year, thanks in part to decades of HIV research. But even with a faster response, the pandemic disproportionately affected the LGBTQ+ community. In general, LGBTQ+ people are more likely to live in poverty or face unemployment. In fact, nearly 1 in 10 are jobless compared to 1 in 15 of the general population. LGBTQ+ people also have less access to healthcare, with 17% of LGBTQ+ adults lacking health insurance. From a social standpoint, older LGBTQ+ adults often live alone, and LGBTQ+ youth are 120% more likely to experience homelessness. These factors only exacerbated the pandemic's impact on our community. Additionally, about 40% of LGBTQ+ adults worked in industries heavily impacted by COVID, like restaurants, hospitals, and education. So while COVID affected everyone, the LGBTQ+ community faced unique financial, healthcare, and social challenges. While the pandemic may have seemed like a moment in time, the effects of it didn't disappear overnight. The history of AIDS reminds us how quickly a crisis can impact our community and that we can't afford to be overlooked. Now, there's a lot of history to unpack, so check out the podcast episode and blog post linked below for more information. And remember, every day is all we have, so you gotta make your own happiness.